Welcome back. Yes, it's been a few months since the last time the Sassy Zebras and I were here to drop some advocacy knowledge. Well, since then, I've been in Virginia and Arizona working on state legislation, strategizing with some national orgs on how to roll out some great policies across multiple states, and putting on my second film festival. Okay, enough with my humble bragging. You're here for some
Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less.
Now, I know last time I promised that we'd talk all about everything you need to know about getting meetings with legislators and how to use them, but we'll get to that a little later. Today, we're going into something much more apropos for this time of year: how to influence the governor. All right, let's get started. There are three things we're going to talk about today. One, why do I need to influence the governor? Two, what is my goal or ask? And three, who will the governor listen to? Okay, first of all, why? Now, I think influencing the governor is one of the most overlooked parts of advocacy. Maybe because it's grassroots folks don't think they have the power or connections to access the governor. Maybe it's because we spend so much time focusing on legislation and time developing relationships with so many other electeds and staffers that we're just worn out and just hope that our bill patron will make sure the bill gets signed. Or maybe it just seems like that governor is up on their mansion, up on that hill, and we just can't get to them. But the governor is the one person who signs, amends, or vetoes legislation. The governor is one person, but he has as much power as the entire legislature. If the governor isn't on your side, then your legislation is doomed to fail, likely. If you can get the governor on your side or mitigate what your opponents are telling the governor, then you've got a great chance at your bill becoming law. This is especially important in states with divided legislatures or where the governor has an independent streak. Okay, so now what is your goal? What's your goal when you're talking to the governor? Your goal is very similar to your goal that you had during the legislative session, but specific to the governor's role. If you like the bill, you want them to sign it. If you don't like it and you think there's no hope for it to be improved, or strategically it's just better to kill it, then you want them to veto it. If you like it but think it can be improved, then you want it to be amended. The messaging for asking for a signature or veto is very straightforward. You say, veto this and why, or sign this and why. Amendments are trickier since they're more technical. You want to lay out exactly what you're working for in simple terms. Provide recommended language, referencing specific lines and the overall goal of your amendments. Why you want these changes to be made, and how they would benefit your state. Be very clear on all your communication about what your goal is. If you're not clear, if there's any ambiguity, then that leaves a chance for the governor to do something that you don't want that governor to do, even when they're trying to help you. So remember, be clear for any of these amendments you want the governor to make. All right, next, you want to identify people the governor listens to. Now, maybe you're fortunate enough to be friends with someone in the governor's circle, or you're a trusted advisor yourself. But let's be honest, if you're watching this, then like me, you're not one of these people. See, the governor's flooded with requests for vetoes, amendments, and signatures as the legislature begins to send him bills to sign. Unless you can garner a lot of media attention and direct contact to the governor's switchboard, your direct action work will likely be in vain. Sorry, that's just the way it is. So you need to get your message to people the governor listens to, and then have them bring your message to her directly. So what are some ways to do this? First, you can identify people in the administration that you know. Second, you can identify organizations the governor is affiliated with where you have contacts. And third, you can identify social circles the governor is active in and influence people there. All right, let's look at this first one. Do you know people in the administration? Now, this doesn't have to be a cabinet member or top official. It can be lower level policy people that can then take your idea and present it to folks in power. Go to these people, either virtually or in person, and share your ask. This can be as informal as a quick conversation in the hallway or someplace in public, or a friendly email chain. Anything that happens in person, though, you want to make sure you follow up with an email or voice message so you can clearly lay out what your ask is and your contact doesn't have any confusion at all. Because the last thing you want is to have someone convey the wrong message. All right. Now, what about the organizations? What organizations does your governor associate with? Who are the key people there? Is there any overlap in your ask and their values and goals? If there is, reach out and request a meeting. Now, how do you know if it's an organization the governor's associated with? Look at their social media. See where they go. See who they are standing beside. Look at their bio. Find out what they've been involved in. Most every governor has spent time in public service, even if it wasn't with a federal agency or a state agency. There's likely a nonprofit board or committee or commission that they served on. Reach out to those folks there. If you don't get a response to your email, try the phone. Even better, introduce yourself to them if you see them in person. Maybe you're at an event together or you go to a festival and you know that they will be there. It's very flattering to be recognized by someone you don't know, and they'll likely give you some time then or offer to set up a meeting simply because you came up to them in public. Now, at that meeting, you want to make sure you share your concerns about the bill. If they agree with you, remember, you're going in with this presenting the bill as something they would agree with. If they agree with you, then you make the ask with them to make contact with the governor to present your ask. Finally, you can identify and influence the social circle of the governor. Now, this is the hardest and takes the most time, but because it can seem very organic, it has the potential to be the most effective. Think about it. If you're able to influence the opinion of the governor's social circle, then that's a whole lot of peer pressure coming to the governor. But how do you do this? Online ads are popular because they are so easy to target specific populations. For example, Virginia has a governor who is active in churches in his wealthy community. By tailoring a social media campaign for high-income Christians in specific zip codes, you can influence the people in the governor's social circle. Now, you have the governor's friends and social network supporting your ask, which is exponentially more effective than random phone calls and emails from your supporters. Now, if you have the ability to directly network with people in these circles to present your ideas, well, that's even more effective, as well as time consuming. But once again, you're changing attitudes of an influential group, so the extra work can have a lasting impact. All right, so we've seen why you need to influence the governor. We've shown you how to do it. I hope now you can see, even if you didn't think you had access to the governor at the beginning of this video, you too can influence the governor to sign, veto, or amend legislation. By being specific with your ask, focusing your efforts on the right targets, you can influence the governor even if you don't know them or are from the opposing party. All right, thank you so much for this great time today on Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less, and I will see you again next week. I promise it won't be another 2 months this time.